We have another question now, and this is a Twitter question from Karnal. He says he has 2 residential properties in Bengaluru. The first has 3 residential units, and he's occupying the second one. Now, he plans to sell the first property and invest part of the proceeds onto the rebuild on the second property for 4 residential flats. What will be the implication of long-term capital gains on the first sale?
Okay.
Do you want me to go run you through that again?
I think that would be helpful.
Yeah. So Karnal says that I have 2 residential properties in Bengaluru. First is 3 residential units, and he is occupying the second. Now he plans to sell the first property and invest part of the proceeds to rebuild on the second property for 4 residential flats. What will be the implication of long-term capital gains on the first sale?
Sure. So, assuming that since you are using the word long-term capital gains, you have held the first property for more than 3 years, and therefore you are going to make long-term capital gains on the sale of the first property. Now, on the sale, whatever capital gain you have made can be utilized completely to rebuild your second property, which you have considered to be a residential property. And you can use the 4 flats that you are going to make for residential purposes and get a complete exemption on any gain that you have made on the sale of the first property.
Okay, so it doesn't matter how many properties you are selling. If you're using the entire capital gains, if you're reinvesting that, you can claim exemption. That's what you're saying.
That's right. So, there are 2 specific provisions in the Income Tax Act. One is when we are selling one residential property and buying the other. The other is when I am selling a long-term capital asset and then investing into a residential property. He would fall in the second category, where he has a long-term capital asset, which is the first property which he is selling and which he is now going to invest into a residential property. Therefore, the capital gains exemption should be intact and he should be allowed to take it.
No, so what I'm asking is, say I'm selling a property which is over 1 crore,
right,
and I'm reinvesting it in 2 smaller properties, the gains that I've made, I'm still eligible for long-term capital gains exemption. There is really no cap on how many properties I can reinvest it in.
No, so the cap is that you can only invest into one residential property. It is also important to understand that while we can use the word one separately, residential property is also important, because we cannot invest into a property which is not in which we are residing in. So it needs to be necessarily into be a residential property in which
and it has to be one residential property. It can't be more than one.
Yes.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at magicbricksnow. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.